This thing is a monster. Like, it really looks mean, doesn't it? Hey, how you going, guys? This is Dan. Welcome back to Hearns TV, and I am going to do another unboxing video for you today. Now, this time around, I thought I'd do something a little bit different because I've done all aircraft previously. So today I thought I would do an armored vehicle, and it is a rather unique one. I would like to present to you the BMPT Terminator. Now, this is what is referred to as a fire support combat vehicle or a tank support vehicle. Very interesting armored vehicle, this one. It's in the Western military. There's no real equivalent to something like this. It's this one is based on a T90 tank chassis, although it doesn't have a tank turret. It has a turret that has various different weapons on it. And the reason this thing came about was during the First Chechen War, entire Russian tank columns and armored vehicles were destroyed by relatively small number of Chechen rebels. Not because so much so that the tank designs were bad. It was just very poor tactics and very, very bad preparation on part of the Russian military, which, if you're paying attention to the Ukraine, seems to be an ongoing problem. And one of the things they found was that, and one thing that all militaries know, is main battle tanks are excellent in open country where they can have room to maneuver and shoot at each other. But once you get into an urban situation where their streets are narrow and there's not a lot of room to maneuver, their size really does work against them. But not only that, the main gun cannot traverse very high. So guys that are hiding in buildings, in high-rise buildings, can fire pretty primitive weapons down directly on top of the tank and knock it out. The very top is the thinnest armor, and they actually pay quite a heavy price in urban environments with their main battle tanks. So what they came up with was something that had the equivalent armor plating of a main battle tank to protect the crew on the inside, but with a much smaller and lighter turret, with lighter guns that could traverse much higher and was able to shoot at elevated targets, and also used it to back up the tanks when out in the open for fire support reasons. Now, this thing saw combat with Russia in Syria, but they haven't used it in the Ukraine, which is quite surprising. But anyway, this is the first version of the Terminator. There's actually a few different ones. There is the BMPT 72, which is based on the T72 main battle tank chassis. I think that came about purely because of the availability of parts. I know that there's somewhere in the area of 13,000 or more T72s were made in all of their variants. And there's a much more recent one, the BMPT 14, which is based on their new armored vehicle. But we'll have a look at the original one. Anyway, this kit is from Meng. Now, Meng make excellent kits, very, very detailed, and they go together extremely well. Now, there are so many parts in here, and I won't have the time to go through all of them because this video will go for about 2 hours, but we'll cover just the main parts. But anyway, first of all, the box. Now, as you can see, this thing is a monster. Like, it really looks mean, doesn't it? And bristled with weapons. And we'll open it up. And we'll have a look at the instructions. I always like to have a look at the instructions first. Now, Meng really put a lot of effort into not only the kit, but everything to go with the kit, like the instructions. I very much like the front cover. Nice and colorful. And we'll get through to yeah, here we have how it all goes together. Nice and detailed with all of the little parts. So you can see easily where everything comes together. Let's see if we can get to the back. There's, camouflage patterns. I love looking at the camouflage patterns. Now this one also has a mine clearing device attached to the front to detonate and dig out mines that are in front of it. This is in the earlier version, as you can see here, the missiles on the side are completely exposed. They're just pretty much bolted on. And in further developments, they actually had a shroud over them to protect them so they don't get damaged in combat. This is with the lighter colors, like again, the sort of the more desert camouflage makes it look a little bit more predatory, but you can see the shape of the vehicle. You can see how it gets its lineage from a main battle tank. So it has two 30mm autocannons at the top, and it has four anti-armor missiles on either side. They're actually guided missiles as well. And in the front, in between the two 20mm cannons, there is a machine gun. I think it's PKM caliber, which from memory is 7.62 by 39. Also, additionally, if you can see here up the front, on either side there and there have two crew members that look through the viewports there, and on either side there is a 30mm grenade launcher as well. So as you can see, this thing isn't meant to square off with other tanks or heavily armored vehicles like a main battle tank would. This thing's for rolling through the streets and finding the guys that are hiding in the buildings and just wiping them out. Now I'll put the instructions over there. Now we'll start off with the upper part of the chassis. Now here we have the rear and the skirts off to the side. Here where the turret would sit. Normally the turret for where the T90 would be wouldn't have this rim around it there, obviously. And then there's the two pop-up points for the crew members that would operate the grenade launchers near the front. Normally they have just the one point with the one viewing point for the driver. And here on the underside, I'll move that up, pop that up so you can see there. This is the remainder of the chassis. Now on an armored, I'll turn it upside down so you can see the underside here. Now, on an armored vehicle like this, a tracked vehicle, when you see the tracks, these are the road wheels down here. And then you have the two up here on either side. The two here at the front and the two here at the back. These ones are attached to the engine. These ones, the engine turns them forward or it turns them back. And that's what rolls the tracks in whatever direction it chooses to go. These ones are the road wheels, and they're not actually attached to the engine. They're just there to keep it steady and keep it rolling, and they have the independent suspension for when they go over bumps. Now, let's have a look at the turret. This is where, this is the upper part, and see if we can find some more of the upper part and some of the side skirts there. And I'll show you around some of the armor plating for around the sides and the protective parts of the vehicle. And here are the covers there and there. They would go at the very front for the wheels that turn the tracks to cover and protect them there from gunfire. And here along the sides are more of the armor plating that would rest along there. There's armored skirt plating on either sides of the vehicle to protect it from shoulder-launched missiles, in particular RPGs and various shape charges. There is armor plating, obviously, with the vehicle in its chassis, but they always add more, even what is called explosive reactive armor, which is a small explosive charge that blows outwards and destroys the incoming rocket before it actually hits the vehicle. Very detailed, actually. Before I put it away, I hope you guys can see this through the camera, but the details of all the little nuts and bolts and everything, and even the handles for the latches for the exterior of this vehicle are exquisite. They're absolutely spot on, and you should really see how many parts there is to this thing. It would take quite a while to put this kit together. I would be recommending this definitely for the more advanced model maker. Now, let us have a look at some more of this vehicle. I'm not too sure how many of these have been made, but here we have some of the road wheels and more of the wheels. I'll show you. And these would go, all along there. We actually also have in store some mud wash and from Vallejo that once this is all finished and painted, you could really add the effects of mud and dirt from rolling through the combat area to give it a much more visual realism, which is always important. Always important. You do want everything to look as good as possible. Now, let's see, to show you, to get an appreciation for just how many pieces are involved in this kit, I'm going to show you this. Now, all of this that you're about to see is the track that the vehicle travels on. Here we have all the links and pieces for the track. Look at that. Look at how... So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 individual molds to make up the pieces of the track for this vehicle. This is a very labor intensive kit. Very labor intensive, but beautiful nonetheless. Once again, I'll see if I can hold this up to the details that they have in each individual track link. Excellent, excellent. You know, this is probably even too hard for me. Now, let me show you some more of this. Here we have more of the armor for the sides. The side skirting here. This goes along the sides of the vehicle, along there. Additional armor plating to protect the road wheels and the track, which is probably the most vulnerable part of the vehicle. You could, even with a relatively small charge, you won't be able to destroy it, but you could take out the track. And once that happens, it's stuck there. And then it just becomes a great big target. And then finally, I think I will show you some of the photo etched parts, just to add in a little bit more realism. This is the grill that would go over the exhaust areas of the engine, and here we have a little bit of wire to add to a little bit more realism. So it looks like something that you've plucked out of a Russian battlefield and miniaturized and stuck it into your house. All right, guys. Cool, cool. Well, I hope you like that. Haven't really made that many armored vehicle kits in my time. Only a handful, but that one really stuck out because, once again, the Terminator, there is no real equivalent in Western militaries. There are vehicles that do similar jobs, but not made to such task specific, in such task specific ways. But yeah, cool. All right, thanks for tuning in once again. I always love making these videos. I hope you really enjoyed this. I always look forward to seeing you guys in the store. And as always, rock and roll.